In today's session, we're going to continue on the series on leadership and workforce alignment and engagement. To become a high-performing organization, we need that alignment and engagement from leadership and the workforce, which is a necessary condition to be a high-performing organization. Today's session, we're going to focus on resistance to change, continuing on the series. Today, we're going to focus specifically on layer 3 resistance, which is disagreement on the details of the solution. Our layers of resistance, just to review: layer 0, why change; layer 1, disagreement on the problem; layer 2, disagreement on the direction of the solution; layer 3, disagreement on the details of the solution; layer 4, disagreement on the negative ramifications; layer 5, disagreement on the details of the implementation; layer 6, disagreement on the risk or unverbalized fear. We've gone through layer 0, 1, and 2. And today's session, we're going to focus on layer 3, which is disagreement on the details of the solution. When we have defined the core conflict and we verbalized the core conflict and we started putting injections into the current reality tree to develop the future reality tree. So these injections need to start with the root cause and break the core conflict, and then we need to determine the permanent countermeasures. So those permanent countermeasures are the actions we're going to take that solves the core conflict, eliminates any negative looping that's happening within the organization. So a negative loop is where we have one action that creates an undesirable effect, that creates another undesirable effect, that creates another undesirable effect, and then it comes back to the original undesirable effect. So we get that negative looping. Then we need to check for sufficiency. So does the injection solve the core conflict? Does it eliminate the looping? And does it convert the undesirable effects to desirable effects? Then we need to validate the logic. So we make sure that the logic is solid and the cause and effect relationship is clearly defined. Once we develop those injections, for example, here's an example of an injection that we did for a company. We have protective capacity to service the urgent needs of the customer. And again, these injections are what, not the how. So we're just looking at what we need to do, not how we need to do it. That'll come later. Next, we want to take those injections to make sure that we have all the sufficient injections, and we want to start sequencing them. So how we do that, and these injections are what we call intermediate objectives of what we're trying to achieve. So what we do is you take one injection, you place it on the page, and then you pick up the next injection and you determine a relationship with that first one. So the relationships can only be, it's a prerequisite, meaning it needs to be done before the current injection that's on the page, or it needs to be done after, or it can be done in parallel. So in this case, there's a robust methodology for scheduling that is a prerequisite for a single priority system to manage work, and it's also a prerequisite for the full kit process. In addition, there's a standard receiving and inventory management process, which has nothing to do with the scheduling process. It can be done in parallel. So here's an example where we have prerequisites and parallel injections. Then you place all the injections in the proper location and then connect them with arrows. So once we do this, we get all the injections sequenced in terms of the order that they need to be done to achieve the high-performing organization. Then we identify critical success factors. So when we have all the injections in place, we look at the columns of the injections that are linked to one another. We start defining critical success factors and key performance indicators. So for example, here's examples of critical success factors with a company. And just look at number 2 here. The operating environment is stable and work is prioritized by a single priority system that's sustainable through business growth. And our key performance indicators are performance to schedule. So once we identify this, then we can put it into our goal tree. So the goal tree determines the goal of the organization to be an ever-flourishing company. We have the critical success factors. So those critical success factors are the why, and then the injections are the what, and they're all sequenced with the relationship. So now we can start building the implementation plan. But before we do that, we need to identify negative implications. So that'll be next week's session. So that's our session for today. Connect with me on LinkedIn, visit our website, go to our YouTube channel where we have lots of videos on how to become a high-performing organization.